All right, so we got it bolted back on. I didn't put all the bolts in, just enough to hold it steady. Let's see, we're welded up to each side. I went around and cleaned up the welds a little bit. So next is stuff off, getting the wings on. I have to look at the instructions. I believe those get tacked on, and then these small pieces that we did the beveling for go on. But I'm gonna check our instructions really quick. It's over here. So, let's see. So we beveled, we did step 8. This is beveling the winch plate. Tack 9 in place as shown in diagrams. The key focus here is to ensure that it follows body lines of the vehicle, consistent gap all the way around. You must have at least 3/8 of an inch or so between the body and the top of the bumper to account for flex that occurs in the vehicle chassis during off-road driving. So, I'm going to go to the front. That's 9, so those are those big top pieces. Over here, it's these. So, we tack those in place. I'm just trying to take a look at how they fit. You can see they overlap. We want this kick here to mate up kind of right here. And we're going to see how everything fits. When I test fit this one side, it was getting into this a little bit. There's no instructions about removing it. This is obviously part of the fender. So we're going to see how all this fits together now. Hopefully I don't have to remove my quality blinker setup there in case I have to run out. I only have one vehicle, but let's go back. Oh, lost my page. So again, top pieces are 9. So we beveled, so we want to tack 9 into place as shown in the diagrams, and that's why that's mounted back up to the body. I want to make sure I get all my measurements correct. I think those blue big OTC jack stands might go high enough. If not, with a piece or two of wood, they definitely will, to give me some support here. So, yeah, we'll start on this piece. I'll take a little bit of video of me trying to get this set up, but that's going to be pretty boring. It's just moving everything into place, and then we'll get the welder over there and somehow tack it into place. Haven't gotten that far yet, but it'll be a blind tack for sure. But yeah, so we'll get that going and get back to it. All right, you can see I got it resting up there. Setup isn't perfect. I'm even using some extra pieces of the bumper to hold it in there. Got pretty consistent body lines all around. I've measured it. I am above 3/8, just below a half, pretty much all around. There's a slight gap right up there. I'm going to push down and tack it in. That just comes from how this whole thing's set up. If I had it set up a little bit more even, it probably wouldn't have that in it. But our lines are pretty much dead on here. So I need to get this tacked in enough that I can remove these 2 big jack stands, and we can put this front piece in, which is, where'd it go? One of these. So this is where the turn signal goes. That's where the tubing will go down, come up and around. But yeah, so I'm gonna get this tacked in. We're gonna see what it looks like. Hopefully the tacks will hold it with those 2 jack stands removed. We're gonna find out. What I am wondering about is fitment in here for a winch. This is an AC line. I pulled the AC fan out that sits back there. I'm gonna have to come up with a new mounting setup for that. But that's not the end of the world. This has, it's not too much flex. It's a bit more flex than I'd like. So that one piece I showed before, we'll cut that and probably get it to mount flat down in here, right down here. But yeah, so we're gonna set up, get this tacked, and see how it looks. So we got some tacks thrown on it. They're not pretty. You notice I have it unsupported, so this end did come down a little bit. This needs to come up, but that's okay. We can use one of these 2 jack stands to do it. This one has to get out of the way so I can put the front plate on. So we're going to get set up. We're going to get this supported. And then we'll come back when I start trying to fit that piece. All right, we're going to get this piece tacked in. There we go. It's tacked in. It looks like there's an inch there, but that's fairly level. We could always fix it with a grind wheel if we have to, but I'm pretty happy. Gonna keep moving on around the side now. All right, so they don't tell you to bevel either of these two edges. Oh, let me flip that. But without doing so, it'll definitely cause some fitment issues. So I could bevel this one on here, I could untack it, or I could just bevel this. So I'm going to actually bevel both these edges for also the piece that fits along here. So we'll bevel both sides of this guy, since I can take him off and test my fitment while I bevel it, just to get him to fit in there straight. We don't have to take too much off. You can see it's just slightly off there. So yeah. All right. So we are just getting ready to do 13. So it's the piece that sits up here at an angle. We have to bevel it to match this bevel. We're going to see if I get it right. Thankfully, both sides are the same. So if I screw this one up, I can flip it and put it on the other side. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this edge beveled, and we'll do it slowly while matching it up to see if we can get the right angle. All right, so we've got a bevel. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But there's one thing about learning to weld and fabricate and do all this, you get really good at welding gaps. So we will definitely make do. So right now, I'm gonna spend another 10 minutes getting this lined up where I'm happy. And try and hold it with one hand while I tack it blindly behind it. So I'm sure this is going to go perfectly fine. So there is a big piece that sits up here. It overlaps this completely, so you do want this to sit right next to it, but not overlap. And that's kind of our goal right now, trying to get this to sit as flush as possible. And also be right up against the edge there. Alright, let me try this again. See how badly I can fail with this. All right, so I ate some food. I think I'm going to take a whack at this other side. We're going to see how it comes out, see if I learned anything, and if need be, I'll pop this side back apart, since it's all just tacked, and we'll try and fix this overhang here, which should make this work. So if we look, I'm not going to pop it out, but it's that corner there. It's not aligned, so that corner is kicking this out. This whole bottom piece needs to be moved down, but it lines up with this piece, which is against the frame there. So I'm not exactly sure how we fix that. It's just how it worked out. I definitely could have done a better job with this guy. But this tip is supposed to hit here, and it doesn't on mine. That's my fault. I definitely kind of messed that up when I was doing the beveling. So we're gonna hit that other side, see what happens, see how it goes, and I'll update you guys as we go through it. All right, so had to readjust the vehicle here, give myself some more room to tack this side in, but we're getting there. I'd like to say it went better because I learned things from the first side, but still got to here, and that line's just a little bit off. It definitely did go in easier. I did end up beveling this guy and this guy a little bit, but all in all, it's looking pretty good. Right side is lower than this side a little bit. Not much I can do about it. I measured, I got them even, and then kind of as I tacked it in, it changed. When I welded in, it's all going to pull anyway. So we're going to see what happens there. But yeah, it went pretty well. I got everything lined up as best I could. You can see that guy's pretty good as he is. So they're the same. It's just tacked and it's solid. So I'm hoping this whole thing moves, so that you can see it just judging by the bolt. You can't even see the bolt on this side, and it's super tight in there. So I might take this side apart and redo it. We'll see. I don't know what I'd actually change, but all in all, I'm happy. It looks good. It's going to look great painted and with a winch in there. But yeah, that's it for today. So we have updates. I've taken a bunch of pieces off. We're working on this side right now. I needed to get it, turn the fan off. I needed to get it to stand up. So I've got it jacked up, fairly equal to the other side. I've got this piece, obviously, in 2 vices. I'm gonna tack it on the inside here. And then I'm gonna move to the end and hopefully get that tacked. I'll move this vise down a little bit, and hopefully close this up. And then the important piece, I'll put this angled piece in with the piece of wood in here, and that should, in theory, hold this a bit higher. We'll see what happens, but that's the plan for now. All right, so we've got one side pretty much set. Driver's side, we had to do less fixing here. We've got nice spacing. It's not touching. And it's just below this bolt. This side is this side. So it looks good. Pretty much the same. The problem is I can't get this bottom lined up with that piece. I'm not sure my fix yet, but what I'm going to do is take it off. I've only got that piece left. It's tacked pretty well. So hopefully it won't move too much. I know what I need to do to get that to fit. I need to pull this out a little bit, but doing it on here has been tough. Or I need to just trim it a little bit to get it to line up correctly. Because right now, so I don't know if you can see that gap. So, sorry, you hear the compressor draining in the background. So, we got it off the truck. this side. So the passenger side that I had to pull out this way, I ended up putting a ratchet strap to my engine hoist, pulled it out, tacked this in there, and it still had a gap, but I can weld a gap. So you can see I've started welding through it. These welds aren't nearly as pretty. I'm honestly using this to practice some very weird positional welding instead of trying to move this around the whole time. That one's ugly. That one came out pretty good. There we go. So you can see upper welds came out pretty good. That one got a little funky on me. I was moving too quick. There's a vertical weld. That one actually came out rather nice compared to my other vertical welds, except where I ended, I held it there too long. Again, not too bad. Doing it in pieces, so hopefully it doesn't move too much on me. I still have, obviously, a bunch of welding to finish up. I'm going to weld every single one of these seams, but we're going to take our time. I haven't eaten dinner. It's, I think, past 10. Oh, it's only 9:30. I did blow through right there in the corner. I kind of figured I would. That corner's a mess right now from all the other weld scatter. And you can see those are marks from the magnet on the back of the light. So I'm gonna get in here and re-clean this. I did clean it beforehand, but obviously as you're going through welding, shit's getting everywhere. So I'll clean it. Probably won't do any more tonight. I did test fit the end pieces and they're not even close. This is definitely because I forgot to put them on already, so it started to, you can see I welded the corners there. But this is gonna fit right in there. I put it the wrong way. So something like that. Probably have to trim it a bit. Not overly surprised. Again, this is definitely, I'm definitely proud of this, but it's you can definitely tell it was my first time doing something like it. The centerpiece came out flawless, but you start getting to the wings where things have to fit together fairly perfectly and got a little funky. So yeah, happy with how it came out. Gonna go shower, eat some dinner, let this thing cool a little bit, and then we'll get back at it tomorrow. Had to move it to get into better position, but you can see the outside. Honestly, I think the heat colors look pretty sweet. Did get a little hot in spots, but again, still learning, not too upset about it. There's a couple gaps here you can see I had a tack, and this is where it didn't line up correctly. It's the only spot. I didn't really get close. This one, I think when I put the bevel on it, did too much, and that's what caused this issue. Again, not too worried about it. It's welded very solid. But yeah, so far looking good. This end I'm gonna have to probably cut to make it work, but we're gonna take our time with that. All right, lots of progress has been made. Got this fairly smoothed out. It's not perfect, but I wanted it welded, but I also wanted the piece that sits in the front here to fit correctly, because it goes across this entire bottom. It goes down to about here and then comes in. So this and this have been smoothed for that reason. I might have to do a little more. We'll see how that piece sits. I probably won't smooth these out. Honestly, I kind of like the look of raw weld. I will have to take a cutoff wheel and just run it in here to straighten all this out. This one I didn't have to weld here to get it to stay, so that's not a problem. It should sit in there pretty nicely. We still got our drains. Both of our drains are open. But yeah, the welding's pretty much done, which is good because I pretty much ran out of gas again. I have enough to tack in the bar work once we get this put on, so I'm gonna let all this kind of sit, fully cool. I'll get it put on the truck. I did test fit it, and our distance off of the fenders is good, but my height's a little off, but it is what it is. Can't really do much about it now. I'm still pretty happy with how all of this came out, but in the end, there's not much we can do. But yeah, so we're pretty much done right now. We're gonna let things sit as they are. We got truck still got the bumper off. We're gonna get this fully put on, see how it looks, get it tightened down, and start with tacking in the bar work. So here is the install after all of the finish welding. The bumper itself didn't move around too much as it cooled off. Everything's pretty much where I expected it to be. Our measurements are within an eighth, mostly actually a 16th of an inch on either side. The height's the biggest thing. It's a little bit lower on the driver's side as compared to the passenger side. But in the end, it looks great. So this video is going to end here with this final install. Next video, we'll have us putting on the hoop, the bar work, which came out super well after some minor trials and tribulations. And then it is priming and applying the Raptor coat. It came out awesome. It looks super sweet on the truck. So I hope you all come back for part 4. Thank you.